Welcome back into the Motor Index, folks. And well, we have a lot of stories to discuss today, recapping Denny Hamlin's victory at Michigan this past weekend, and a look forward to one of the biggest weekends in NASCAR this calendar year, which is the race in Mexico City. Very excited to talk about all of this. Let's get started. Let's start with Michigan. So, Denny Hamlin gets the win in Michigan on fuel strategy, his third victory of the Cup season. Um, Impressive. I mean, it was a good race. It was a really entertaining race. I thought, I said going into it, the strategy was going to be very compelling and how that shaped up. And sure enough, it was very compelling till the very last lap. Um, Denny wins on fuel strategy. I'm kind of. It was very, I watched this race delayed because I was actually on a flight for the majority of this race. So following some of the strategies was a little weird, kind of watching it on recording and kind of losing focus a little bit. But Denny saved just enough fuel to get to the end. Um, it's appearing as though that there's not been really any drop off from Chris Gabehart to Chris Gale atop the pit box of the 11 team. Um, they've been on it. They've been on it. You could even say Denny should have had a few more wins this year. I look back to the Daytona 500, the Phoenix race. Um, I'm sure I could find a few other ones that Denny could have potentially won, and I just think this season he has very much proven all those doubters during the offseason wrong. A lot of people during that offseason were saying that Denny Hamlin's cooked. This is it for Denny. I came, and there is video evidence of this. I was not on that train whatsoever. I was never on that train, and I'm been proven to be right. Denny Hamlin is still in his prime and is still kicking ass. So, congrats to Denny Hamlin. Yeah, so strategy was very compelling. Great racing all day, kind of like we expected with Michigan. Though I do think this race is getting a little overblown. Just a little bit, just a little bit. I actually think that some of these past races from the past few weeks were better. Just a little better, not crazily better. Though some of those restarts there were, I think, I'm trying to remember which ones specifically. Specifically, I think they were like the first or second restart during stage two was fantastic. That was awesome racing. That move that Elliott put, well, kind of blocking his teammate pretty aggressively. I think it was Elliott blocking Byron coming across the front straightaway. But when he set it four wide on that move and went from like fourth or fifth to second in just in turn one, that was some really great racing, I gotta say. But yeah, so let's get into some of the other good finishers. Carson Hosfar doesn't get the finish he deserves, but ran extremely well at his home track like we predicted. Um, I think it just continues to reaffirm the fact that he's going to get into victory lane at some point. Whether that's in this season or not remains to be seen. But if he remains running this good, I think he's got a really good shot to do it this year. So we're gonna have to wait and see. But I'm forgetting exactly what the issue was. I'm recording this on Thursday, so a couple days removed from the race. But I'm forgetting what the issue that caused Hocevar to lose his good chance at a good finish. I don't remember if it was like engine blow up or a tire went down, something. I think it was a tire went down. Not remembering clearly, but sucks. Feels like it happens every week to this team. They run well, and then something happens, something crazy happens. So that's just a learning curve, is what it is. They'll figure it out eventually. So I'm not too worried about that. But how about Ty Gibbs getting into contention this week? Um, you know, hasn't been the season that he's wanted. Hasn't been really the Cup tenure that Ty Gibbs has wanted. But he had a chance there to compete for the win there on Saturday or on Sunday. I mean, so good run for him. I believe he came home third, so that was very good. And then yeah, so then you have Chris Buescher in second, who was hoping for Denny Hamlin to run out of fuel on that final lap. Didn't end up coming to fruition, but hate it for Buescher because that was a good opportunity for him to win at a track he's won at before. So that does suck if you're Chris Buescher, but still a solid points day. I know, Chris Buescher, he's been saying, we're going to have to win our way in. Mathematically, I don't think that's necessarily the case, but I do think that he is right. I think winning is his, obviously, everybody's safest route, but I think it will be what gets Chris in the playoffs, and I still do think he is going to win. I just, he's too good of a driver, too good a team. I feel like Chris Buescher will get a win before the end of this regular season. I I mean, maybe Watkins Glen, maybe this coming week at Mexico City. We'll see. But yeah, so I think that's about it for Michigan. Yeah, it was a pretty, straightforward race. Kind of a lot of what we expected took place. Nothing really out of the ordinary went down. But that's not to say it wasn't a very entertaining race. I thought it was really good. Um, Even though I did say I think it was a little bit of overhyped in terms of how people interpreted the race, but still, very good race overall. So, with that being said, let's get into Mexico City. So, very, very excited for this race. First time the Cup Series has gone international since that Japan race. But that Japan race, if I'm remembering correctly, was an exhibition race. So, I believe it is the first time ever the Cup Series has raced a points paying race outside of the United States. So, huge, huge deal this weekend. Very excited to see what they have in store because I know NASCAR will have some special things in store at the track and for the viewers at home. So, that will be exciting. Um, Big storyline heading into this is our winner from this past week, Denny Hamlin, may not race in this weekend's race due to the birth of his third child. I believe it's third. Please don't eviscerate me in the comments for that. His child is going to be born potentially this weekend. Um, there's a chance by the time this video goes up that we have an answer on that. Um, so we will see. If he does not get in that car, it'll be Ryan Truex getting in that car and racing down to Mexico City. So that would be an interesting storyline to follow, how well he does in the 11 car. But that remains to be seen if that will be a bigger storyline. That would be very interesting. Though Denny Hamlin is not exactly, one to typically be a threat at the road courses, but still, I mean, if he can get as any points possible, like winning a stage, maybe on some strategy, getting a playoff point, like that adds up over time. So like him not being there is detrimental in a sense, but I mean he would get the waiver obviously, so wouldn't be too detrimental. But I mean they will lose a chance at some points. So if he's not there, so that will remain to be seen. But I think this race, like I said, opportunity for some interesting strategy to get some stage wins, but also a huge opportunity for some guys, some road course ringers to get a win and win their ways into the playoffs. And we'll get into who I think those will potentially be. I don't know if it will be a road course ringer. I'm not predicting it to be a traditional road course ringer, though we'll see. You're gonna see who I pick here, and I'll kind of tell you why. But I do think there are a lot of guys. This is the first of a few opportunities here coming down the home stretch for some guys outside of the playoff bubble to win their way in. Another factor heading into this race is the potential for weather. It did say, if I'm remembering correctly, potentially a 70% chance of rain in the later afternoon. So we'll see about that. I think the race will be going green around. I don't know if the local time is what time zone Mexico City's in, but I believe it'll be around 12 or 1 o'clock local time there in Mexico City when green flag drops. So I'm not sure when the rain's supposed to roll in. I don't know the exact conditions as far as rain tires are concerned and whether they should be able to use them. I just don't know, how that, like, do they have the rain tires? If they do, how many sets do they have? I don't know any of this information because of how convoluted of a mess the whole just getting to Mexico City issue is in the first place. So that'll be something we'll get more answers to this weekend. Um, what was it? There was another big storyline I'm forgetting. Um, oh, that was it. The altitude that could be something that plays a huge factor here. there are no tracks on the circuit that are anywhere near the altitude of Mexico City. I think it's like 7,000 feet is like the altitude there, which is 2,000 feet higher than Denver. That's insane. And they don't race up in Denver. There's nowhere in the United States where they race at a higher elevation than this race in Mexico City. So I've seen a lot of drivers preparing with like doing altitude training, and also I think so. We'll see how that factors in. Maybe some drivers getting fatigued potentially. But also, I don't know how this is going to affect the cars. I don't know if is will that affect have some effect on some things that could potentially affect the outcome of the race. I don't know. That is going to be something really interesting to watch, and I'm sure they're going to really highlight that on the broadcast, especially knowing Amazon Prime's creativity and not being, stuck 20 years in the past like Fox. That will be something I really hope that they highlight because I'm really interested to know like how that affects things. I think that'll be cool. So, um, I guess let's get right. I guess let's just get into my race winning picks and who I think will contend. So, for my race winner, I don't. This could be a stupid decision, but I'm making it. He almost won. I think they've only run one road course this year, if I'm remembering correctly, which was uh, Coda. And you know who should have potentially won that race? Kyle Busch. That's who I'm going with this week. I think this is the moment of, the big spectacle of this being, big NASCAR first time going over, or not overseas, but out of the country. Just feels like something's going to happen here, whether that's some like road course ringer winning his way into the playoffs or something like Kyle Busch ending that winless streak. I'm going with KFB. I'm going with Kyle Busch to win this week. I don't know. Something in my gut's telling me to do this, and I don't know if I believe it or not, but that's where we're going. So, give me Kyle Busch to win this weekend. But there's legitimate reasons to think it. Like it's not like that's just some coming out of nowhere. So, um, as far as contenders are concerned, AJ Allmendinger has been legitimately one of the best drivers in the Cup Series that nobody's talking about, and easily. I've actually seen a lot of people saying he will win before the end of the regular season, and I'm not going as far as to say that, but I do think he will absolutely be in contention this weekend. And if he's not, it'll be a huge missed opportunity. But I do think he will be in the mix. SVG pretty much has to be in the mix if he wants to do anything with this season. That's not to say he's like basically, and we're gonna just extend this out to Daniel Suarez as well, and even Michael McDowell. All of those guys, if they want to win their way in the playoffs or, you know, have a shot maybe on points, you have to run well here and hopefully win or contend for the win. And I think all these guys are very capable of doing that. We'll see, though. Everybody's going to be mentioning Daniel Suarez coming into the weekend, which I get it with the whole Mexico City thing. I just don't know if he's had the speed recently to say that he'll be a contender here. I would like to think it for, vibe's sake, but I just don't know. Maybe they've been working on the race car for months and putting all of their effort into this one race car, and maybe he'll just have a charger out there. But I don't know. I don't know what to think. I'm gonna have to see it to believe it, honestly. But it would be a really cool storyline to see Daniel go out there and run well. I just need to see it. I just need to see it to believe it. So that's as far as the road course ringers, and then kind of just going back to Coda. I do think Christopher Bell and William Byron will also probably be in the mix. Just perennially good everywhere. Good everywhere, those two. I think Byron has probably been the fastest week after week in the Cup Series on average, even better than somebody like Christopher Bell, who has 3 wins compared to Byron's 1 this year. But it feels like every race this season, William Byron has been in contention. You cannot say that about anybody else, I don't think. Even Kyle Larson, there have been races where he is significantly out of the mix for the whole day. I don't know if I could say that about William Byron. I honestly don't think I can. And I don't think that's going to change this weekend in Mexico City. So, yeah, I think that's all we've got today. So, Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I hope everybody enjoys this very big weekend coming up in Mexico City. Hope y'all enjoy and tune in. Thank y'all. God bless.